week into the campaign, it's been hard to miss the feast of slogans served up by the rival leaders. So which catchphrase is gaining the ascendancy? To shed some light on the spin, I spoke with Michael Tier, the managing director of one of Canberra's leading production companies. Moving forward, turning the boats back, or standing up for Australia, movement is the message, a message that's being repeated over and over again.
If you have a consumer who is effectively doing whatever they can to avoid the news and avoid kind of engaging with the issues, the best hope you've got is that somehow, perhaps they're listening to a news story on the radio or catch a bit on the television news, that one of those slogans will stick to them. So I guess it is really targeting the lowest common denominator.
And is that why it's repeated ad nauseum? Ad
nauseum. It's the vomit principle, I think I've heard it described as, where you just keep repeating it and it begins to take on a meaning which is not there. I mean, moving forward, well, yes, what's the alternative to that? Standing still, going backwards, let's go sideways. It's a statement that doesn't really mean anything.
So has this developed into a campaign about big slogans which actually say very little?
I mean, I would characterise all of these slogans in a way more under the line of, vote for me, I'm nothing to worry about. And it sort of plays on the concerns the electorate have rather than visions. So it's worry about change or worry about the consequences of some of these sort of nasty things that are lurking out there. So that's why essentially they're really negative messages. Stand up for Australia. I mean, stand up for New Zealand. Obviously, it's almost banal. The bland leading the bland.
How do you view the election campaign as a marketing exercise?
It is the marketing of the soundbite. A few seconds on a news story. Even with television advertising, you get 30 seconds to sell your product with one message, if you like. And if you've got a kind of a complex policy decision like immigration or climate change, it's almost impossible to reduce that down to a single slogan. It's not really marketing in the sort of conventional sense, I guess, and that's why television advertising is pretty awful. It's pretty terrible. There's no memorable television advertising political campaigns.
What about Canberra specifically from a marketing perspective? It's a bit of a government spin city already. How does election campaign spin go down in this market?
What you broadly have is a large proportion of the population who are either directly involved in the business of government or understand the political process. So in a sense, it's not for them. And we're not in a marginal seat. We're kind of observers to the process. Spin's a harsh term, I think, because in a lot of ways, if you think about trying to reduce the campaign down to a slogan, of course it's going to be spin because we're dealing with complex issues. In the old days, you'd get up on the hustings, you'd make a speech to the gathered audience, and you'd deal with complex issues. But policies and politics are two different things. Politics is about getting a result. It's about compromise. Elections are not about choice, and it's not about a debate about the future of the country. It's about, don't make a mistake.